Yo, what's going on, y'all? What's going on? Welcome back to another episode. Welcome back to another video. I want to thank y'all, like, subscriptions, subscribers. Um, that's real cool. You heard me, so I appreciate that. And let's get straight to the video. So it's early morning. I'm looking real greasy. I'm surprised there ain't no white streaks coming from my eyeballs because I got straight up out the bed to make this video. Why I don't know. So we've seen rumors about my mustache look kind of crazy. I'm gonna cut all this off when I get off here. Uh we've seen rumors about WWE selling, right? Um, which is it seems to be has always been sure you look crazy too. It's always been Vince McMahon's end goal. We've seen wrestling from when the majority of the world and the country watched it. We've seen it dramatically change since the basically like 2003, 2004, uh and it's always been pushed this direction. The thing with wrestling is anybody who's ever known about like the territories of wrestling or wrestling in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s is that wrestling has always been done by wrestling people. And what I mean is this is you kind of have to be somewhat of a non-casual to know this. It's not like there have been attempts from outside people with money to come in and say, "Hey, I'm gonna fund this wrestling organization, and I'm gonna get the best wrestling minds that I can afford, maybe, and we're gonna put on this show." So the one of the most popular things would be like Rick Rubin, a producer from Def Jam, original Def Jam producer, famed producer. He put money into something called Smoky Mountain Wrestling with Jim Cornette, um, and they did it at a time when wrestling in general, it's like the mid '90s, was on a downfall. WCW's trash, WWF was trash. Nobody was messing with wrestling. So they kind of did it at a bad time. We kind of got that with WCW. If y'all didn't know, it was NWA Wrestling. It was some other organizations. WCW, I believe, kind of absorbed a lot of it, and WCW owned by Turner Broadcasting Network, TNT, TBS. Um, And what they did was they would have like WCW, they would have their own Turner broadcast executive in some of these meetings. Like they be in the meetings, giving entertainment advice to wrestling, which is very different. And it just doesn't work. As we saw, WCW went out of business. With WWE, well, in wrestling in general, there aren't really traditional. I wouldn't even call it nepotism. It's a lot of nepotism, but there have always been traditional wrestling minds. Your Pat Pattersons, he's dead. Jerry Lawler, he's about 80. He did die. He came back to life. Jim Cornette retired. Jim Ross, announcer right now, could be retired soon. Bruce Pritchard, WWE, but he really always really worked WWE. He did little stints. He did stints in Houston back in like the '80s, late '80s. And he did a little stint TNA, MLW. What I'm saying is, all these guys are 60 plus. So unless they get the tuning to come back into wrestling, of course, I'm sorry, you have Triple H, you have Stephanie McMahon just retired. You know, Triple H. Triple H has experience booking the show as we've seen over the last couple years. Um, and then we have outside entities. I would consider Tony kind of outside entity, of course. He wasn't in the wrestling business. He's in the football business. His dad's in the football business, soccer business. I think he owned like Manchester United or whatever. I'm not too familiar with soccer. But what I'm saying is the Saudi group, Disney, um, whatever company that plans to buy WWE will probably be the official. I know there's AEW, right? But AEW, it's not. It's wrestling. It's wrestling. It's the closest thing to pro wrestling, old school pro wrestling that we have. WWE is very entertainment. It sucks. The AEW sucks too. They both suck. But WWE is it's the entity. People don't really say wrestling. They say WWF. So what WWE, WWF. I still call it WWF. People don't really say, oh, wrestling on. They say, oh, WWF on. Or if they say wrestling on, they assume it's WWF. It's been around our whole life. So that's just what it is. There's no slight to AEW in that fact. This show does suck. Both shows suck. Um, they're making a lot of money from merch because people buy anything. People are stupid. Um, Vince McMahon is about 75. I don't think we're gonna have much wrestling left. So the starter group get it, we don't know what's gonna happen to it. If Disney get it, we don't know what's gonna happen to it. If the Liberty Media Group get it, we ain't gonna know what's gonna happen to it. I just know that's gonna be a wrap. Because as much as this AEW stuff is around, I know they get about 800,000 viewers, 700,000 viewers. They've been around like 3 years now. Um, they have a lot of internal stuff. We'll get into another video, but I could see WWE's purchase of being sold. I could see that being like the mark of the death of like wrestling and mainstream wrestling. I know people still go to indie shows and they watch people do regular wrestling matches. The niggas go to balls, niggas go to boneyards, niggas watch niggas jump off flippity dibby off tables, get hit with light poles, get hit with light bulbs, have flashlights, anything with lights, they get hit with it. But the wrestling we all know, Stone Cold, Stone, that's gonna be gone. And that's kind of wild. Wrestling been around 100 years, 120 years, 110 years. A lot of it at the local level. Um, the majority of it is at the local level. I mean, it didn't really get super duper mainstream until the 90s. A lot of it was just the territories. One guy, hey, I have Memphis. I have the Memphis area. I got this part of Tennessee, Tennessee, Tennessee. We got a little bit of Oklahoma, whatever's around Tennessee. Kentucky, I don't know. I couldn't. $2 million on the line. I couldn't tell you what's next to Delaware right now, but it'd be the end of wrestling. It'd be the end of wrestling, and maybe we're better off looking at episodic episodes, episodic just every. I wonder what the ratings would be if they just put Monday Night Raw on from when it really got hot, like '96, and just let that whole run to about 2003 every Monday for the next how many years that is? 7. Let it run every Monday and see if niggas tune in and watch that old shit. I think I would. Um, but it's coming to this. I think we're at the end of the market wrestling. Vince McMahon kicking the doors down again. And coming back and and just taking that shit over. He taking that shit over. That boy don't give a fuck. So let me know what y'all think, man. I think this is a wrap. As much as there is AEW, I haven't been able to get into AEW. I haven't gotten a WWE in a while either. The camera angles actually make me want to throw up. The camera angles are all time awful. So let me know what y'all think. If you know about wrestling, um, tell me a little something in the comments. We know about our old school bookers. But we know that there's always been money thrown in from outside entities, like I said, Turner Broadcasting, and that's not really a bad thing, but it becomes a bad thing. Holla at your boy. Like, subscribe. Thank y'all for subscribing, running subscribers up. We get to 1,000. We will get it. Let's get it.